Welcome back to another video by Pharos Technology. I want to wrap up our discussions that we've been having on blockchain and talk about the possible future for businesses that actually are completely blockchain enabled and blockchain autonomous. The name for this organization is a Decentralized Autonomous Organization, or DAO. What this kind of organization does is when it's launched, it isn't managed. It is just simply a function that continues to be performed for the benefit of the solution that it's solving and continues to move forward on its own. Okay. One big experiment that was tried with this a while back showed that we're not really ready for this. It was what they called a DApp, or distributed application. And this distributed application, not being mature enough, had a couple loopholes and eventually had to be shut down in order to recover people's money that they had invested in this, and all of a sudden was all funneled into one pocket. And of course that didn't work out too well. So this is a very futuristic look at where things might be going and what they might actually be doing. And the DAO now, the Decentralized Autonomous Organization, literally is a concept that's now beginning to show signs of being implemented. And I only want to illustrate it with one example today, one that I think is kind of humorous and kind of very interesting, actually. It is a place called Bounty Zero X. And if you go to and search Bounty Zero X, all one word, you'll be able to find a website where you can become a bounty hunter, you can become a bounty host, or you can become a bounty sheriff. Well, playing off on the idea of bounty hunters and how they look for bounties and look for jobs where they can possibly pursue hardened criminals that have escaped bail and such like that. On that kind of paradigm, what they're doing is introducing a concept of connecting people who are willing or wanting to work with people who have work that needs to be done, and allowing them to contract together, and then allowing what they call the bounty sheriff to make sure that any mitigation that has to happen between these two that the blockchain can't take care of by itself is mitigated to the satisfaction of both parties. So what you have is the bounty hunter is, of course, the person looking for work. They register with the site. They identify themselves through a couple other blockchain applications where you secure your identity in a know your customer sort of way that banks do. So you find that you're valid and you have all your pay information in there. You have all the information that is needed in order for you to go to work, similar to the way an employer would. And then you have the bounty hosts who say, gosh, I've got this work, but it's not enough work to hire a staff of people, but it is definitely an amount of work that I need to get done. And I can explain it all in a document and get the work done based on information that I provide. And once they get back to me with that information, I'm more than willing to pay a certain fee to the person who performed the work. And then there's the bounty sheriff. The bounty sheriff kind of is an interesting job. It's there as the mediator. It's a specific role in the blockchain. And the bounty sheriff actually is compensated for the work that the bounty sheriff does. And so you go in and you go ahead and approve the work that's being posted by the hosts to make sure that it's valid, well documented, that it's doable, that somebody who's with a reasonable amount of experience in the topic that's being asked for would be able to accomplish and then be able to connect the buyer and seller and have a successful transaction. The bounty sheriff is also there in case there's a dispute as to the quality of the product or the challenges in making sure the product is done the way that the host expected it to be done. So the job of Bounty Host is literally to provide that third-party mediator that wasn't involved in the DAP, the example that I used earlier, where it was just a runaway system and somebody found a way to exploit it and push it one direction. It does provide some human interaction in there so that the work can get done and the work can stay on the level between the purchaser of the services and the purchaser and the provider of that service. So what we have is possibly a very dynamic workplace that could be the wave of the future for a lot of this kind of work that just needs to be done, but businesses need a way to afford it to be done without hiring employees. Because I would really, really dislike being an employer and having to hire somebody for 3 or 4 months and then let them go. Don't want to do that. Well, you could always hire temporary work to do some of that, but then there's always that feeling of obligation. Plus, you have that third party involved there. So you go to a temp agency like a Kelly Services or a Manpower or any one of the services out there for IT type work, and you've got this layer of overhead that goes to the contracting company. So you know that the person you're paying doesn't even get the full benefit of what you're paying their time for. So it's a new wave of possibilities. I know that there's also a blockchain that's working in the area of IT work. I haven't actually looked up the name of that one, so I don't have it right on the tip of my tongue for you. But there's these type of opportunities that are beginning to emerge in that blockchain arena that may actually change the face of employment and work as we know it going into the future. So I hope you've enjoyed these videos on blockchain, and frankly, I hope I've enjoyed them. I've enjoyed learning the extra that you learn from digging a little deeper into the topic so that I can share it with you. I hope you come back for other videos and look forward to seeing you again. Thanks. I want to thank you so much for viewing this video. We have great content on the site, and I'm putting more content out every single day. There's a link to one of them on the side of the screen over here. Also, please help me grow the channel by subscribing. So hit that subscribe button a little bit lower on the other side of the screen, and hope to see you again. Thanks.